the journey towards never again is so much more important than the actual goal. It's about every single individual person that can be saved from identity-based violence. And it's the only way to reach that goal is for every single person to do their part and to fight in their communities to protect the most marginalized people around them.
Hello, my name is Shahad Jwari. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm joining from Fairfax, Virginia in the Monohoke Territory.
Hello, my name is Micah Baker. My pronouns are she, her, and I am joining from Chicago, Illinois in the Kickapoo Territory.
Hi, I'm Hewlin Edward. I use he, him pronouns, and I am joining from Billings, Montana, land of the Blackfoot.
Solomon Khan perished in the Cambodian genocide. Gurditch Bago perished in the Bosnian genocide. Peter Wang perished due to gun violence at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School at the age of 15. Bakar Barka Junga perished in the Darfur genocide. Atikar Rahman perished in the Bangladesh genocide. Ayun Malu Akul perished in the Sudan Civil War. George Floyd perished due to the police brutality. Selina Akhtar perished in the Bangladesh genocide. Kulwant Singh Kanta perished in the genocide of 1984. Zakaria Karez perished in the Syrian war. Lito Calsona perished in the Argentine Dirty War. Jahik Aliha perished in the Bosnian genocide. We remember the villagers of Kirkali, Burma, which was destroyed in the Rohingya genocide. Amina Ishak perished in the Darfur genocide. David Dor Bol perished in the South Sudan Civil War. Simon Adams perished in a racial terror lynching. Joaquin Al perished due to gun violence at Parkland High School. Asik Zaltko perished in the Kosovo War. George Walensky perished in the Charlie Hebdo shooting in 2015. Abandi Bakabwa perished in the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. Hernan Abriada perished in the Argentine Dirty War. We remember the lives lost in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Ativos Avakian perished in the Armenian genocide. Zazik Kahara perished in Brazil in defense of the land of the rainforest.
We remember the Cradock Four who were abducted and killed by security police during apartheid. Bakit Ahmad Jamar perished in the Darfur genocide. Luis Silveira perished in the East Timor genocide. Mohammed Haziq Maud Tarmizi perished in the shootings at mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand at the age of 17. Elijah Mandal perished in the Sieveren massacre during the Bosnian Wars of the 1990s. Ali Mustafaj perished in the Kosovo War. Steve Biko perished while in police custody during apartheid. Tatevos Avakian perished in the Armenian genocide. Chani Winjak perished while escaping Indian residential school at age 12. Julio Agnelli perished in the Argentine Dirty War. Ruben Hajeshan perished in the Armenian genocide. Husic Avdija perished in the Bosnian genocide. Chico Mendez, an environmentalist, perished in Brazil in a line of advocacy against the exploitation of land in the rainforest. Liam Curry perished in the Manchester Arena bombing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate Leonard. My pronouns are she, her, and I am joining from Lenape Land in the Bronx, New York. I am one of Together We Remember's Youth Action Fellows and the executive editor of TWR's blog. When you say a name, you breathe new life into a person who has passed away. Saying their name evokes their memory and reminds us of the unique and multidimensional person that was taken from this world. Saying their name ensures that their memory, their individuality, and their dignity cannot be taken. That is why name reading is so important. It connects an actual person to acts of identity-based violence. It makes violence and death real because it humanizes the deaths instead of having them signified by statistics or numbers. It prompts us to think about how every name is a person who is loved, a person who had worth, a person whose life should not have been taken so unjustly. It's about visibility and awareness. It's about invoking the past and present and what it means not to be silent. It's about refusing to let the light of each person go out. Name reading ignites their memories into one big flame. So with this vigil, we will use name reading as a way to create a collective memory of those we have lost to violence. It will bring us closer to the realization of never again, and it will bring us closer to justice.
It is truly inspiring to see you all here tonight. My name is Luke Yang. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm one of Together We Remember's Youth Action Fellows, as well as managing editor of the TWR blog. I'm a sophomore in high school here in Miami, Florida, also known as the land of the Seminole, Taino, and Tequesta people. Tonight, or whatever time it is for all of you, we will be taking the first step towards ensuring that these next 24 hours impacts are felt around the world. Together, we will light the TWR flame, transcending all physical boundaries and uniting us in remembrance. If I can ask you now to take out your candles and lighters, you will literally and figuratively ignite the flame of collective memory. I'll give y'all some time to get ready, and please turn your cameras on so we can appreciate the full effect of seeing all these candles across the world. I think we're all ready, so on my count, we'll light these candles and spark the TWR flame together. 1, 2, and 3. Yep, that's just beautiful. Take a moment to drink it all in. We're all here together in this moment, embarking on a journey over the next 24 hours to unite in the fight against identity-based violence. Please keep these candles going until the last hour of the program. Just like the flame of hope against hate, these candles should not burn out. One last second to take in this beautiful image before I hand it off to Hasha and Wandila to well and truly welcome you all.
Good day to all our coalition members, partners, friends, and esteemed guests joining us from around the world. My name is Wandila Nzuza, one of the student directors and fellows of the TWR Youth Action Fellowship. I'm a fourth-year university student calling in from Pretoria, South Africa, the ancestral land of one amongst many, but the Bedi people.
We're so incredibly excited to be here with you all. My name is Harsha Sankaran. I'm also a fellow and student director for Together We Remember's Youth Action Fellowship. I'm coming to you all from Texas in the United States on the lands of the Humanos, Tawakoni, Kikapoy, and Wichita people. We encourage you to use the link on the slide to share your land acknowledgement as well.
We welcome you all to the Together Remember Global Vigil 2021. This vigil is the culmination of 30 days of memory, learning, and activism. The vigil marks the beginning of our commitment to never again as we carry our torch forward. To give some context into this month, though, and this day, we'd like to draw on the story of our CEO and founder, David Fox Estrin. The story begins with the young David who, in the picture you'll see there, was just coming to grips with the enormity of the Holocaust and his own connection to it. This experience would stay with David into his university career, where at Duke University, he hosted the first two 24-hour vigil on his university campus. This event would mark the template for what we know now as the TWR Vigil. We like to refer to a moment as our Le Door Door moment, where we carry the torch of activism into the next generation. A major tool for this is uniting unlikely allies, to facilitate in our communities and working collaboratively to bridge the gap between education and action. This is what this month is and has been about. This vigil is thus not an end, but a new beginning in using these lessons to work for the realization of a world where never again is truly a reality, where mass atrocities and genocide are truly a thing of the past.
With this vision in mind, last year, for the first time ever, we did a global virtual vigil. This vigil was unprecedented, especially as it came at the onset of the pandemic and along with many other unprecedented things, when everyone was just beginning quarantine and learning how to come together in our new altered reality. Last year's vigil was followed up with another powerful year of activism, which we'll tell you about in a bit. This year's Global Vigil is the culmination of everything that's happened since then, and of course, is a testament to what we've all achieved together as a global community this Genocide Awareness Month. The past year, myself and Wandile have had the incredible opportunity to work with and grow alongside 22 astounding young activists who formed the Together We Remember Youth Action Fellowship. These fellows have accomplished some incredible things, including running Together We Remember's blog, social media platforms, implementing impactful social action projects, and showing the world that young people can and do make a difference in moving the world closer to never again.
Thanks, Asha. We now hand it over to our fellows who have been making their case as the bearers of the torch of collective memory through their social action projects. And yeah, take it away, guys.
Hey y'all, my name is Chandler Lawton. My pronouns are she, her. I'm 15 years old and I'm joining from Columbia, South Carolina, the land of the Cherokee. When I joined Together Remember, I was looking for a group of young activists like myself, and I can definitely say that TWR has become a family to me and has allowed me to grow as an activist with the support of everyone in the fellowship. My social action project entitled Uniting African American Jewish Communities in Remembrance highlights the Jewish and African American communities in a tangible way. My activist journey started with the Anne Frank House, which focuses on the Holocaust and the experiences of Anne Frank. With that being said, I wanted to incorporate that as well as the African American community into my project. When I started my project, I looked for an influential leader who played a big role in both communities. I chose John Wittenberg, a Jewish lawyer who served African American clients during segregation. I would like to create a historical marker as well as a mural expressing the unity between these two communities. In addition to my SAP, every Friday I posted an IG Live in which we have titled our #Fellow Friday IG Takeover. Myself and 3 fellows hop on Instagram Live and discuss our weekly Big Ass Question of the Week. It's definitely something that I've looked forward to every single week. Now I'm going to pass it off to Reese.
Hi, I'm Reese Allison, they, them pronouns, coming to you from Manahoac land in Northern Virginia in the so-called United States. I joined the Together We Remember Youth Action Fellowship because as a queer person with disabilities, I often face barriers in doing activism and in other areas of my life. And I wanted a chance to do meaningful work to end identity-based violence in all its forms. Thus, on March 31st, Devin and I hosted an event for Trans Day of Visibility, showcasing trans joy as a form of resistance. A recording of the event is available on Together We Remember's Facebook page. Since then, I have been sharing portraits of powerful trans people on Instagram at Trans and Powerful. Please check it out. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Devin Benaroya. I use he, him pronouns, and I am tuning in from Seattle, Washington, the land of the Duwamish. Before joining the fellowship, I felt overwhelmed and helpless in a world where I am constantly seeing violence and hate all around me. But being a part of this fellowship experience has exposed me to all the people who are countering this darkness, and I've had the opportunity to be a spark in that mission as well. Speaking of sparks, if you have been active on our Instagram, you may have seen this face before in our real campaign, The Spark. If you haven't seen it before, you're missing out. Get over to Instagram immediately. But basically, I have worked to create a series of 30-second videos throughout Genocide Awareness Month that aim to educate and create awareness around concepts that are crucial in understanding what identity-based violence is and how we can counter it. This initiative had humble beginnings as a fragment of an idea that I sent to our Slack channel, and it has since ignited into a blazing campaign with tens and thousands of views. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into it, writing scripts, filming, editing, and posting all from this very bedroom. And today I'm honored to share my work on the Global Vigil platform, and I hope you enjoy these sparks. Welcome back to The Spark. What is Genocide Awareness Month? Each April, survivors of identity-based violence and their committed allies come together in a global campaign to remember the past, take action in the present, and shape a more peaceful future. It occurs during April, a month in which genocides from the past century are commemorated. Join us for this year's campaign by attending one of the many virtual events on Together We Remember's website and joining the conversation here on social media. Welcome back to The Spark. What is identity-based violence? Identity-based violence encompasses acts of violence towards a person that are based solely on their identity. This could be somebody's race, ethnicity, nationality, gender, sexual orientation, or religion, and violence could take the form of anything from hate crimes to genocide. At Together We Remember, we honor the memory of those impacted by identity-based violence by turning remembrance into action. Check out our website to learn more about the fight against identity-based violence and how you can be a part of it.
Hi, my name is Gresham Mwale. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm from Lusaka, Zambia, but currently joining in from Kitwe. I joined the Together We Remember Youth Action Fellowship because I wanted to learn how to be a better activist and make a difference in my community. I come from a country that has never experienced a genocide and teaches very little things such as mass atrocities. But through the TWR Fellowship, I have learned that threats to the peace my country takes so much pride in do exist, and if not properly handled down, can lead to a future we would never want to remember. For my social action project, I hosted a vigil uniting youth and leaders against political violence, which is a major problem in my country. I felt it necessary to host this as we are in the year of our general election here in Zambia. And it is important we spread the message of never again experiencing politically related violence. And we had leaders and different political parties pledge to do their part in keeping the peace. Thank you very much. I'd like to pass it on to Kate now.
Hi again, everyone. Oh,
Hi, I'm Hewlin Edward. I use he, him pronouns, and I am joining from Billings, Montana, land of the Blackfoot. I joined the fellowship because I saw it as an opportunity to get out of my comfort zone and involved in activist work contributing to making the world a better place. After taking a high school class about past and present genocides and acts of identity-based violence, I saw this fellowship as a chance to turn my education into action. For my project, I wanted to address an issue that was immediate to where I grew up, which led me to create an educational e-portfolio to amplify the voices of Indigenous women and introduce the missing and murdered Indigenous women crisis to high school students. I'm in the process of distributing that e-portfolio to teachers in Billings to coincide with Indian Education for All and to help grow students' own awareness and activism about the MMIW crisis.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Pollen. I use she, her pronouns, and I am joining from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA, land of the Osage and Shamwandasi Tula. The start of my involvement with Together We Remember and the fellowship ties in with my social action project. You see, last year when I was in 10th grade honors English class, we had to do a project for Genocide Awareness Month after reading Night by Elie Wiesel. Me and a few peers came up with Art Against Atrocities, an art competition to promote atrocity awareness. What makes our competition unique is that youth use a diverse array of art to assign words and images to the countless intense emotions brought on by identity-based violence. While working on getting this project to its feet, my teacher, Miss O'Shea, got me in contact with Together We Remember. I started going to founder Zoom meetings weekly and found a passion for activism. I truly never could have imagined before that activism would become such a big part of my life. However, working with the founders was so amazing and eye-opening that I ended up continuing with them throughout the whole summer. Relating back to Art Against Atrocities, in that same summer, Together We Remember helped us host a virtual art gallery to appreciate the art that was submitted to that year's competition. My passion for activism only grew, which is why I applied to the fellowship later during the fall. As I've been alluding to, my social action project is the second annual Art Against Atrocities competition. This year, we were fortunate enough to be able to reach youth artist activists globally. The theme was to artistically interpret humanity at its worst to inspire humanity at its best. We got a ton of amazing submissions, and the diversity of mediums was astounding as well. We will be displaying the winners at 12 p.m. Eastern Time during this vigil, so please join if you are interested.
Hi everyone, my name is Ken Tribino. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm speaking from unceded territory of the Tongva and Ashaman tribe, also known as Orange County. I applied for this fellowship because I understood the importance of remembrance and wanted to bring that action to the issues I was most passionate about. In my first few months with TWR, I was able to build a connection with the Holocaust Museum of Houston and representatives for the Hostile Terrain 94 project, a global art demonstration centered around the mass atrocities taking place along the US-Mexico border. While working on this project, I was able to present to over 60 students in Engines of Change, a program sponsored by the Holocaust Museum of Houston, and invited students to take part in filling out toe tags for the Hostile Terrain installation that was unveiled in Houston just this past week. My work in TWR still continues though, as I'm working with Dr. Michelle Tovar at the Holocaust Museum right now to bring the issues of border violence and migrant deaths to a wider audience. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alex Fan. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm joining from Bakersfield, California, land of the Tejon tribe. 2 years ago, I created a research project for a program called National History Day that focused on Ben Ferencz, the last living prosecutor from the Nuremberg trials and the father of the International Criminal Court in The Hague. He fascinated me because he wanted, because of the precedent he set for how genocide should be prosecuted and prevented. After my project, I really wanted to continue learning about the Holocaust, so I interned with Holocaust Museum LA, creating lesson plans to accompany live Holocaust survivor testimonies for California schools. And I realized how much learning about the Holocaust and human rights atrocities impacted my life and how it could impact all lives. So I applied for the TWR fellowship because I feel it is my duty to continue education to prevent identity-based discrimination. For my social action project, I further developed the Holocaust Education Youth Project, which I founded last year. Specifically, I designed human rights education curriculum that I will be using to guide modules with live Holocaust speakers in classrooms. And I led a seminar with a Holocaust survivor to educate local teachers, politicians, and community leaders about historical identity-based violence and how we can combat that today. TWR has inspired me to continue my activism now through the Holocaust Museum LA Teen Board and the Museum of Tolerance Motivating Teens program, but also wherever my future will take me.
Hello, everyone. I am Nasul Shema. I'm joining from the land of 1,000 hills, which is Rwanda. Yes, that country you see on Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain's jerseys. I joined Together We Remember because I want to make Never Again a reality. I come from a country that has been torn apart by the 1994 genocide against Tutsi. And coming from a post-genocide generation, this gave me a shade of purpose that I had to do something to make sure what happened doesn't happen again. I'll now pass it on to Benita.
Hello. I'm struggling starting my video. Rasha, can you please help me?
I'll help you in just a second. Go ahead and start speaking, Benita, and I'll get you your video going.
Hey, I'm Joël Benita. My pronouns are she or he, or she or her, sorry. I'm from the same country, the land of 1,000 hills. I grew up saddened by the horrific tragedy my country passed through during the genocide against the Tutsi. I therefore had the thirst to know and understand the history of Rwanda that led to the genocide against the Tutsi. Luckily, I joined the organization that works to prevent crimes against humanity and mass atrocities at 18 years old, where I learned a lot about the history of Rwanda that led to the genocide, and also the history of other countries and their violence. I joined the TWR Fellowship because I wanted to contribute to the fight against identity-based violence. Me and my fellow Nasiru Shema are doing a social action project since we are from the same community. Our community is still facing consequences from the genocide against the Tutsi. For instance, the genocide ideology, the mistrust, prejudice, and mental health issues. We therefore thought of working on a project we named Oath. This project helps the community, especially young people, to learn and understand the history of the genocide against the Tutsi, and also creates a platform to share what we can do so that it never happens again. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kate Leonard. My pronouns are she, her, and I am speaking from Lenape land in the Bronx. I joined the fellowship after learning about TWR through my grandfather's participation in last year's Global Vigil. I was in awe of this movement, particularly the sense of solidarity that it fostered, and it's been so impactful to be a part of such a strong, passionate, and empathetic community this past year. I decided to focus my project on gender-based violence in the larger context of genocide and identity-based violence. I wanted to foster conversation about the intersection of oppressions women face in the times of conflict and violence. I organized a panel discussion with Nima Namadamu, a women's and disability rights activist from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Dr. Elizabeth Wickery, the executive director of my college, Fordham University's Leitner Center for International Justice. The panel sparked a lot of conversation around the gap between international law and the experiences of people on the ground. And I was happy to be able to share this conversation with a wider audience because this type of dialogue is so important and so impactful.
Thank you, fellows, for sharing your story. I'd now like to open the floor and discuss the question of what does never again mean to you? To me, never again means living in a place where we aren't blind to hate and identity-based violence, but we truly learn from and act on our education. Never again is a huge goal, but we can help this goal by uplifting the stories of others, and I'd love to hear what my fellow fellows have to say on the topic.
Well, I'll start then. To me, never again means educating ourselves about the past and the present, and those wrongdoings that have happened both now and then, and acknowledging those as well as the root causes of them, and then finding ways to take action now to make up for the past and to help prevent such atrocities from occurring again.
Me, never again means valuing the people that we have and making things better for them rather than trying to change the kinds of people that we have.
To me, never again means listening to and uplifting the stories of people who have experienced identity-based violence and using those to learn from the past in order to make a better future.
From our side in South Africa, we actually just recently celebrated Freedom Day, which was the date set for our first ever democratic elections. And for me, never again is making sure that we never, stop trying to be better in our society, always looking into the past to see how we can make a better present in preparation for the future. So for me, never again is a commitment.
To me, Together We Remember's goal of never again is about bridging the gap between different people, different experiences.
For me, never again.
Sorry, Gresham, I think we interrupted each other a little bit. But I'll just finish quickly with, I think that never again is a commitment to building relationships across lines of difference to work towards a better future together.
To me, never again means learning from other people's history and the impact that which mass atrocities, genocide have had in their communities, and ensuring we never experience that in our communities. So it's being able to learn from their stories and that being enough without having to experience it yourself. So never again means never experiencing it yourself and learning from what others have gone through and ensuring you do not experience it.
To me, never again is the future, because as so long as we speak up and speak out against the past atrocities, then I believe we can make never again a reality.
For me, never again is listening to the voices that history has continued to silence and bringing those to the forefront of our movement in the hope of seeing everybody survive and thrive.
For me, as Primo Levi once said, it happened, therefore it can happen again. It may not happen here, but it may happen elsewhere. So for me, never again is making sure that what happened in Rwanda, the 1994 genocide against Tutsi, does not happen again in Rwanda or elsewhere in the world.
To me, never again means to collectively mobilize to recognize the past and creating praxis to imagine and create a new and better world in the future.
For me, never again means uplifting the voices that have been oppressed and learning from their experiences so we can apply those lessons to ensure that these atrocities never happen in the future.
To me, never again means teaching young people how to be kind to one another to make sure that atrocities like these never happen.
To me, never again means turning collective memory into collective action, uplifting the stories of people who may not have a voice, and using it to educate people on various instances that have occurred and teaching people how to use that education and turn it into action.
To me, never again, I think, begins with speaking to communities across lines of difference and understanding and listening to one another's hearts.
To me, never again is a lifelong commitment dedicated to amplifying the voices of the most marginalized and ensuring their oppression ends for them and their future generation.
To me, never again goes to even the minor acts of violence that happens in our community. It gives me a red flag to bigger crimes or atrocities. I think we have to work on prevention of those minor violent acts that happen in our communities to prevent atrocities from happening again, hence making never again a reality.
To me, the journey towards never again is so much more important than the actual goal. It's about every single individual person that can be saved from identity-based violence. And it's the only way to reach that goal is for every single person to do their part and to fight in their communities to protect the most marginalized people around them.
For me, never again is about bridging the gap between cultures and communities across the world and showing that at the end of the day, we're all the same and we're all people, and that together we can make sure never again is a reality.
I agree, and definitely increasing the community aspect and trying to just be allies to each other and have compassion with each other, and especially in this fight for, to make never again a reality. I think being with each other and being present is really important.
To me, never again means facilitating intelligent conversations across lines of difference. So now we're going to go into a little bit of guidance and methodology. So hello, everyone. My name is Doreen Hansis, and I'm a TWR Youth Fellow, and I'm also the co-community lead. I am from Terre Haute, Indiana, which is the land of the Kickapoo. So I just want to thank everyone for joining the Together Remember Vigil for 24 hours of powerful digital remembrance, learning, and activism that will bring us all closer to the promise of never again. For the next day, we will apply lessons and stories from the past and implement them in our present to counter division, ignorance, and hate in our schools and our communities. As attendees of the vigil, you will travel around the globe to our different coalition partners and organizations. Often you will encounter TBR core values in these hours: inclusion, localization, youth leadership, and repetition. Vigil attendees will also become familiar with our methodology for bridge building and effective activism, convening unlikely allies, opening hearts and minds through art and stories, facilitating learning and discussions about atrocities in the past and present, taking action, spreading awareness through social media, and most of all, fostering truth and belonging through solidarity activities. These are the spirit and the purpose of this vigil. Please keep in mind the vigil will be shifting through different countries and a myriad of time zones. The live stream on Facebook will reset every 6 hours. So if suddenly the screen goes black or the stream starts buffering, please be patient and refresh whatever device you are using. We'll be streaming on YouTube for the full 24 hours as well. Any devices can be used to watch this programming. If you have any technical difficulties, please DM our Instagram for help. Attendees are welcome to ask panelists questions and comment on the live stream, like, share, or any other ways you can think to interact with the speakers digitally. Join the conversation or start one if that's your prerogative. During the vigil, there will be times for the audience to participate in a meaningful way. Please do not share any hateful comments or rude imagery. This vigil is meant to be a healthy and positive experience, so any negative comments will not be appreciated. We all hope everyone has a unique and positive learning journey through this vigil. Thank you and have fun.
Hi everyone, my name is Madeline Minnick. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm from Wilmington, Delaware, on the territory of the Lenape people. Today, as Genocide Awareness Month comes to a close, Together We Remember's virtual vigil is a reminder that working to end identity-based violence and share awareness about genocide history is never really over. The events today will acknowledge the identity-based violence that has caused global devastation, but also uplift the voices of upstanders, survivors, and scholars who encourage this practice of commemorative action in order to remember and prevent atrocities. Throughout the vigil, you will hear from museums, education centers and universities, campaigns, and many more organizations devoted to protecting the memory and ending violence. From events in Rwanda memorializing the genocide against the Tutsi, to youth-curated organizations like Art Against Atrocities, to discussion of past pain and future hope in the Israel-Palestine conflict, to museums in Bangladesh, South Africa, the United States, and Brazil. This vigil truly encompasses the growing worldwide effort to create a world without genocide. This global unity enforces the idea that never again can be a reality when there are people and organizations committed to that goal. The unique virtual format of the vigil allows for people to unite across borders to learn together, work together, and remember together.
All right. Thank you so much for that preview that you just gave us, Maddie, for what's going to unfold for the next 23 hours. We would like to drop links in the chat for the projects of those on Facebook. You would have seen the links that we've been dropping to the chats of the projects that many of the fellows have been embarking on. So if you are feeling inspired, and want to support us in any way so that you can hear more of these awesome stories, there are many ways to do so. Firstly, please make sure that you're following us on our Instagram, our Facebook, and Twitter. Our handle is Together We Remember with at TG THR. We remember. We'll share those links throughout now and closer to the end as well. Ensure that you are signed up to Together We Remember's newsletter, and if you are a student or a teacher, apply to be a part of the Youth Action Network.
Throughout the next 24 hours, our partners and coalition members will also be sharing ways to support them, so stay tuned for that. Lastly, if you feel inclined to do so, you can support us financially to ensure that we can keep doing this work until never again is truly our reality. Now we're going to hand it over to our fellows to deliver a poetic invocation.
The message burns ever so bright in my mind as a ball of light passes from one heart to another, over state lines, overseas, and through the universe. And it is my dream to share this until we are united. As this bright light passes through the night, tears are shed, love is given and gained for a greater cause, for a greater us.
One match is all it took before we could even fathom why. We are here in the first place. The universe is crafting our very own path to the light. Allyship goes beyond you and me. It goes beyond the bounds of our communities. It belongs at the epicenter of our hearts and at the epicenter of our world.
I came from a suburban area in the United States, inspired by something I could barely fathom ever being possible: forgiveness. But this isn't solely my story to share. This is a collective story of collective memory to collective action that is burning brighter than ever before. In a world divided by hate, we must inspire humanity to move in love, to strive in love, to unite in love.
Never again has been stated over and over, and now it's our turn to bring our light into the world. It's our turn to burn brighter than ever, because the victims and the survivors and the upstanders before us carried their light, because never again can be a reality if only we keep pushing forward. For peace and unity, for love and companionship, for compassion and acceptance, for hope and recovery, for resilience and courage. To unite so that we can see a world with more love than hate, space to accept everyone as they are, justice for all the people we have lost, flaming passion to repair what has been broken, empathy instead of apathy.
Because together we remember Irina Sendler, Ava Kaur, Hamia Bashir, John Lewis. Together we remember the Holocaust, the Cambodian genocide, the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, the Darfur genocide, the Anfa genocide, the Armenian genocide, the Srebrenica genocide, and far too many more cases of identity-based violence. History repeats itself if only we allow it to. Together, we can build our communities up by shining our light as allies in the world, as those before us did, so we can create a community, a home full of peace.
Thank you so much. Sorry, that's yo is a South African, wow, just a South African way of saying wow. Thank you so much to all of you for sharing that powerful poem. It really does, awaken, the thought of trying to make sure that never again is a reality. Thank you to all the fellows for a wonderful recitation, and thank you to Ben Cantrell for writing this beautiful piece for us. With that, we hope we've made the case for the youth are not only students of history, but also makers of history. And over to you, Hasha.
Thank you, Andile. Thank you for everyone for helping us to kick off the incredible events that we've got lined up over the next 24 hours from our TWR Coalition and our partners. We hope that you enjoy them, that you learn, that you grow, and that you'll help us in our mission of not letting the light go out by tuning in over the course of this next day, sharing, commenting, engaging with us in a digital way. We hope that you're feeling as inspired as we are to make never again a reality. This is the Together We Remember Youth Fellows signing off on hour 1, and we'll see you in 22 hours.
Wow, wow, wow. That was absolutely incredible. Hello, everyone. I'm David Fox Estrin with Together We Remember. I was just sitting here in awe doing some Zoom DJing on the back end here. Fellows, thank you so much for such an incredible opening ceremony. Today, I was thinking about how in our very first vigil, there were 3 or 4 of us that came together to organize it on Duke's campus. And it was the same, and we reached, maybe 200-300 people on our campus, which was incredible. And in the same unit of time, 24 hours, we are about to reach the entire world, right? That is the multiplier effect of collective memory. And it took us a decade to get to this point where all of you incredible people are here with us and part of this movement. And it's surreal. And I'm really excited to go around the world over the next 23 hours or so, 22 hours or so, and see how far we can get towards that goal of never again. We've got a few minutes until our next folks arrive for our first journey to a part of the world. We will be heading to Macau and Hong Kong. But before we do that, I just want to check in with the fellows. How are you feeling having kicked this thing off? Any feelings? We often talk about, how we're doing in the midst of all this work.
I'm feeling great. I'm so excited.
It speaks for the both of us. I'm so excited to see this from this beginning where the rest of the the 24 hours goes.
Wandila, what time is it where you are?
An ungodly hour.
It's 7:15 in the morning, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, same for Nosviru and Benitha. Thanks, and Cassidy, thanks for waking up with us. Yeah, and Gresham too. Thank you guys so much joining us around the clock. Any other thoughts and reflections on this first hour of the vigil before we hand it off?
I have something I would like to say. I just want to say I'm very inspired by my fellow peers, and just listen to you all talk and just hearing you guys, it makes me, pushes me even further to do well. So thank you guys, and thank you to fellows.
Thanks, Micah.
I just wanted to jump in and say that every second, every minute, every hour at TWR is always a learning experience, and I'm really learning a lot, and it's really amazing. Can't wait for the next 24 hours. It's going to be magic.
Thanks, Nosviru. Maybe 1 or 2 more contributions, and then we'll shift. How about something that has surprised you? Go ahead, Cassidy.
Oh no, I was just gonna second Micah. I think I look around, and especially people my age, and I think everyone seems so kind of unresponsive or to what's going on. We've almost become like, it's so normal to see people suffering and to hear these atrocities. But to see what everyone's doing, especially the youth, fighting for everyone who can't necessarily fight for themselves, I think it's so inspiring and beautiful, and just makes me want to carry on and make me want to carry on fighting for everyone. And I'm just really excited for the next 23 hours. So, and David, thank you for letting us be a part of this. It's really beautiful, and it's really exciting. So thank you.
Awesome.
Go
ahead, Reese.
Yeah, I think one of the things that struck me was in the creation of the Trans Day of Visibility event was between the time I started with the slides and the time presented, there had been one murder of a trans woman of color. And then, as I say, since then, we've already had two or three more. We've had basically one murder for every week. And that's just trans people. I think about what other communities are going through and just how necessary this work is, because I know that sometimes it's hard to feel the anger and the passion to drive, because it's just exhausting to keep seeing more and more names. And I think the community we're building here is incredibly important because it can feel that passion and drive, I think, in a way that none of us can do alone.
That is absolutely powerful. Thank you so much, Reese. And actually, Reese, just while we have you, can you tell folks about the other project you're working on that you're hoping you can work on in the next few weeks? I think it's important to share because we really, we're always about trying to broaden the we and together we remember and look at the full scope of identity-based violence. And Reese, you have really helped us up our game when it comes to, violence based on gender, as well as in other ways. So can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so one of the things I'm working on, because I am working on a couple of things, is I'm creating an event that will basically go through the history of the eugenics movement, like particularly here in the United States, because it was something that affected every single part of the world almost. But so the scope of it is so broad, and yet it's almost the underlying logic for our entire system. Like, it's part of the logic of genocide. We've had like 60, 70,000 people, mostly women, and largely women with disabilities or women of color, who've been sterilized here in the United States. And that's one of the things that we never talk about. And so what I really want to do is sort of unveil this history that we don't talk about, and talk about how we are complicit in all of this, just in our logic, and show where this logic continues on today, even though the formal eugenics movement has been dismantled.
Thank you so much, Reese. And thank you to all of our fellows. We're gonna start to wrap it up and head on over to Macau and to Hong Kong. This has been an absolutely incredible first hour of the vigil.